Particle A travels in a straight line such that its displacement s meters from a fixed origin after t seconds is given by s of t equals at minus t squared for t greater than or equal to 0, less than equal to 10. This is shown in the diagram. Particle A starts at the origin and passes through the origin again when t equals p. First question, find the value of p. So you can see that the particle passes this horizontal line from the origin up to this point where t equals p. We can solve for p by finding the roots. Okay, we know that these are the roots of the quadratic function. So I can rewrite this as t squared minus 8t equals 0. I always work with the highest degree having the positive coefficient. So that is done by multiplying both sides by negative. So we can factor this out. T equals t minus 8 equals 0. So t equals 0 and t equals 8. So the first t is 0 and t equals p is 8. We will not take this into consideration anymore because this is given. So this is the only answer we need. So we say p equals 8. Okay, let me just erase some. Okay, the next question. Particle A changes direction when t equals q. Find the value of q and find the displacement of that particle at that time t equals q. There are two ways on how we can find the answer. First, we can find the point where it changes direction. So it changes direction here at the maximum point when t equals q. The maximum point here, this can also give you the vertex hk. So one way to solve that is finding the h or the x coordinate of the function. So we can say that h there is equal to q that is also equal to negative p over 2a. This is a formula. So our q is negative, what is the function again? This is the function, right? So negative, or you may use the original where this is your b and this is your a. So negative 8 over 2 times a, which is negative 1. So our q equals 4. Okay, this is for part 1. For part 2, we need to find where the displacement. So we know that at the vertex, this is actually the same as t. Your h or the x value represent the time, and the y value represent the distance or the displacement. So our s of 4 is equal to 8 times 4 minus 4 squared. So it's equal to 32 minus 16. So it's equal to 16 meters. By the way, these are in seconds. So s of t equals 16 meters. So that's one way. Another way is by using the derivative. So we know that it changes direction when v equals 0. So we get the first derivative of t. That will be equal to your v. Where is our function? So derivative of 8t is 8 minus 2t. And then we equate 8 minus 2t equals 0. I'd rather work on 2t minus 8 equals 0. Multiplying both sides by negative. As I said, I want to start always with a positive coefficient for the one with the highest degree. So I factor this out. So this is equal to 2t minus 4 So 0, 2 equals 0 is false. So t minus 4 equals 0. So t equals 4. And this is also equal to our q. So it's basically the same, right? Now, to find the displacement, this is for another method for letter B. And then to find the displacement, we will replace this function s of 4 by 8 times 4 minus 4 squared. So they are the same. Okay, that's one method. I think finding the vertex is a lot easier. Now let's solve letter C. Yeah, find the distance of particle from the origin when t equals 0. Okay, for letter C, s of 0 equals 0, right? But s of 10, there's no need for us to include this. So let's just solve for s of 10. So s of 10 equals 8 times 10 minus 10 squared. So this is equal to 80 minus 100 equals negative 20. But we're looking for the distance. Distance is positive, so our d equals 20 meters. Okay, so the total distance traveled by particle A is given by d. The total distance is from 0 to 10, right? So up to here. So here we have 0, here we have 4, here we have 8, here we have 10. Okay, that's the ending from 0 to 10 seconds. So we are looking for the value of d. We can use a motion diagram to illustrate our distance. So let's say we start at here, t equals 0, s is equal to 0. But when, so s t equals 0, s equals 0. When t equals 4, is that where it changes direction? Yes, 4. And we already know this to be 16. So let me use other color. So from here, let's say this is t equals 4. We have, so 0, 16. And then it changes direction. So from going forward, it moves backward when. So when we have t equals 10, our s is negative 20. So we write in the number line the distance here is negative 20. So up to this point. Okay, so now let's find the total distance traveled. So let's take a look at this. So from this point is the total distance. We have here 16, and then from 16 to 20, so 16 and 20, so 36 going to the left. So we have 16 plus 36. Remember that we're talking about the total distance, so we do not cancel out. We are not taking the net distance, but the total distance. So if it moves to the right, 16, and then 36 to the left, the total distance covered is 32 meters. Okay, so a second particle, B, travels along the same straight line such that its velocity is given by v of t 14 minus 2t for t greater than or equal to 0. So the velocity is given. Let's find where the particle changes direction. It says also that when t equals k, the distance traveled by particle B is equal to that of D. Okay, so let's find the total distance covered by particle B. So for particle B, V of t, when it equates to 0, we will know where it changes direction. So we have here 2t minus 14 equals 0. Okay, let's find the factors. T minus 7 equals 0. 2 equals 0 is false. So t minus 7 equals 0. T equals 7. So it looks like this, if we're going to use a sign diagram, that this is for particle B. So from t equals 0, of course, S equals 0. But when t equals 7, here, we need to find its displacement. And from there, so this will be the distance covered. And then after that, it changes direction. Okay? Now, what we can do is we can use a sign diagram actually. So let's find S of 7. S when t equals 7, S of 7 equals, but we don't have displacement, meaning to say to find S, so we need to find S first using V. So to find S, we need to get the integral. So S of t equals integral of Vt dt, or the integral of 14 minus 2t. And then we have here integral of 14t minus t squared. Okay, let's drop the c now. So going back, t equals 7, that will give us S of 7 equals 14 times 7 minus 7 squared. And this is equal to, let me check my calculator. So we have 14 times 7 minus 39 gives us 49. So it's 49 here. Let me use another color. So S0, S equals 49. So what it needs is 3 more, like, because we say that the distance of A will be equal to distance of B, and distance of A is 52, so it has already covered 49, so you need 3 more. So this one will be 3, and moving back 3 here, that means your S is equal to 46. You move back to 46 to get that 3 points. So we are looking for the value of S of k is equal to S of k is equal to, what is our function? 14t minus t squared. But that S of k, we don't know what the k is or the t is. But we know this to be 46. It will be in 46. So 14t minus t squared. That S of k, not knowing what the k is. But we know that it will be in the 46 point. Okay, so we can again use our factoring here. So we can have t squared minus 14t plus 46 equals 0. By the way, we use k, right? T equals k, so we can change. Let us just change this to k to make things clear. So k equals 0, k equals, okay, never mind. I think it's better we retain it that way. That this is our t equals 0, t equals k, and t equals 7 here. Okay, so we're looking for t here. I don't think this is factorable, so we can just use quadratic formula method, where x equals negative p plus or minus square root of p squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here we are looking for t equals negative of negative 14 plus or minus square root of negative 14 squared minus 4 times 1 times this quite big, right? And for paper 1, all over 2 times a 2. So we have here 14. I think I can remove the negative because all the answers are on the positive side. So what is 14 squared? 256. Okay, you can check that out, but you cannot use calculator, so you have to do this manually. So you have 14 squared equals, it's good if we memorize our at least up to 20 squares of numbers from 1 to 20. So 14 squared is 196 minus 4 times 46, and that's equal to 184 all over 2a. So this is the same as, by the way, what is 196 minus 184? It is, oh sorry, 196 minus 184. Okay, you can solve on the edge of your paper. So what is the answer? 46. Let me check. I think I've gone wrong here. Plus 46. 196, 14 squared, 4 times 1 times 46. So this is 14 plus square root of 12 over 2a is 1. So times 2. Over 2. And this is same as 14 plus, if we're going to factor this out, that's 2 square root of 3 all over 2. Split that out, 14 over 2 plus 2 square root of 3 over 2. So our final answer is 7 plus square root of 3. This will be our value of k because t equals k. Okay, we're done.